What's up, beautiful people, and welcome back to another comic book review video where I say words and you, the magically delicious, listen. It is I, your crazy Nicolas Cage, your steward of Gondor, your genius, billionaire playboy, basic YouTuber philanthropist, SuperCliff. And would you kindly hit that like and subscribe button, for every little bit helps in this powerful, epic YouTube world. And today, guys, we are continuing our quest through DC's Infinite Frontier with Action Comics, issue 1031, written by Philip Kennedy Johnson and drawn by Daniel Semper. And away we go! As our story picks up immediately with Superman breaking into the war zone spaceship and confronting the terrified Kryptonian refugees. And because Superman is such a terrific kind of guy, he attempts to calm the scared Kryptonians, speaking to them using ancient Kryptonian, the Latin of Kryptonian languages, telling them that he means them no harm. Now, unfortunately, the other war zone ships are still relentlessly attacking against the main warship. And so Superman, after promising the refugees their safety, takes off and asks Superboy to help him stop and fend off the attackers and to find a safe place to land the ship. But sadly, at this point, during the battle, the ship has taken way too much damage. Therefore, seeing no other option, both Superman and Superboy decide to save the refugees, hands-on edition, as the ship crashes down into the ocean. Now, once this happens, the remaining Warzone ships retreat, whilst the downed Warzone soldiers are left at the mercy of the Atlanteans, who Clark mentions are on their way. And so, with the battle over, Superman and his son decide to take the refugees to the Fortress of Solitude. Later at the fortress, Helix begins to run some tests on the unconscious refugees. Eventually, it's discovered that they have suffered multiple injuries over the years and have not received any proper medical treatment for quite some time. Therefore, their injuries might not even heal. Superman tells Supergirl what one of the refugees said to him, and we find out that what she said was a Kryptonian prayer. Now, Superman suspects them to be Kryptonian, but at the end of the day, he actually doesn't really know. All he knows is that they speak Kryptonian, and that one of the refugees has the House of L's family sigil branded on her palm. Therefore, Superman intends to find out exactly why. Afterwards, we pick up with Superman over in Atlantis, alongside Aquaman, Voku, and Drift Commander Merc, in order to investigate the ship's wreckage, which is clearly beneath the sea. Now, according to Voku, Atlantean scientists have discovered that the ship was built with parts made up from various technologies. Now, although the Atlanteans didn't find anything specific about the refugees, Voku mentions that they did find something of value, that being a small stone that seemingly serves as the ship's main power supply. In addition, the element that the stone's made of resembles quite similarly to the source. Ooh. Superman wants to take the stone back to the fortress for research, but both Voku and Merc are like, hey, get fucked, Superman, saying that the stone and the ship fell on Atlantean waters, and so by law, both belong to Atlantis. Superman responds, accepting the terms, but he does ask to see the war zone prisoners, to which the Atlanteans agree. Once the group meets with the prisoners, Superman is surprised to see that the war zones are still in their chains. However, Merc mentions that they were already wearing them, and when the Atlanteans tried to remove the chains, they began freaking out as if the Snyderverse was being taken away or something. Which it is! Sorry guys, but it's true. Superman eventually enters the containment bubble and attempts to speak to the prisoners face to face, promising them that they will not be harmed. However, one of the prisoners attacks him, yet the Warzone only manages to injure his face. Yet despite that, in a very creepy manner, the prisoner laughs, saying Mongol's name. Meanwhile, at the fortress, Lois, Kara, and John are researching, trying to find out about any Kryptonian off-world flights that may have occurred during the time of Krypton's destruction. However, John doesn't believe that the refugees are really Kryptonian, due to their cells having yet been powered up by the sun's solar radiation. But Kara tells John that perhaps in due time their cells will react. There's just no way knowing at this point. Plus, the language that the girl spoke is an old Kryptonian language that's called Valkyrie, and there's no way someone who wasn't Kryptonian would have known that. Now, Lois wonders if perhaps they're time travelers, since, you know, the Flash exists and he loves to fuck up with time and space. But I digress. However, Kara says that still wouldn't make sense, because what the girl said in Valkyrie was Falculus protects us. But Falculus wasn't a god, rather a Kryptonian scientist, killed for her devotion to what she believed to be the truth. Basically, in Earth terms, she was similar to people like Galileo and Socrates. Yet despite all of this, John gets angry, stating that he still doesn't trust the refugees, and thinking that this is all some sort of trap set up by Mongol. John then immediately takes off in frustration, but once John leaves, Lois tells Supergirl about a theory she has regarding the refugees. Meanwhile, we pan over to the Fortress of Solitude, where we see the refugee girl, who Superman had spoken to, waking up, and once she sees that the chains have been removed from her hands, she starts becoming scared and desperately puts them back on. Helix then finds the girl and tries to comfort her, saying that no harm will come to her, but in response the girl smashes his head off, thereby deactivating Helix. RIP? Possibly. Afterwards, she starts to remember back on Warworld, where she and her fellow kind were rescued by Mongol. However, because the girl chose to brand her hands with the symbol of the House of El, Mongol saw this as an act of defiance. Therefore, as a result, he punished her, ordering the girl's friends to have their chest branded with the L symbol. We also find out here that Mongol had given the girl a secret mission, a mission involving the home of Superman, but whatever she does next will determine the fate of all her kind. Ooh. Action Comics issue 1031 continued Philip Kennedy Johnson's epic Warworld Rising arc by having this issue be more of a detective-esque story, and hot damn was this great. Now check it, because I don't mean to harp on Bendis. However, when it came to Superman playing detective during that Leviathan Rising story, though it wasn't super terrible, that arc did feel awkward and jumpy. And at the end, I felt like the answers were moving further and further away because DC wanted to make an issue worth of story into 5 issues. Yet, unlike in that story, Johnson here makes great use of Superman trying to get information by having him be completely blunt with what he wants to know, and not seemingly dancing around certain questions, whereas if he actually wanted to know the answers to something, he just asked. And here he does that several times. And yeah, though Superman is asking questions and isn't getting the full-on answers such as we saw during his time with the Atlanteans, the fact of the matter is that we're still getting bits of needed information along with bigger questions with regards to the source rock. It's the sort of stuff that builds story and intrigue, which is why I'm freaking loving the story. Now, when it comes to the backup story, unfortunately, I still don't give a shit. I'm just not a fan of either Midnighter or Apollo. However, it was cool seeing the Future State Mr. Miracle show up towards the end. I thought that was a pretty cool tease, so, well done where credit's due. And with regards to the art for both stories, it continues to kick major ass. And it's great. It's really good. So yeah, Action Comics continues to be great under the guise of Philip Kennedy Johnson. And I can't wait for the next issue to hit. Action Comics issue 1031 gets a sexy 9 out of 10 giggity goo. Oh yeah!